Hey folks, I'm David.
This is Cordy.
I'm a doctor of physical therapy and a jiu-jitsu blue belt. She's a yoga teacher. And together we lead Shipibo led and operated ayahuasca retreats down in Peru. You can come with us on retreat, or you can support our nonprofit foundation that gives back to the Shipibo lineage. And you can catch us on the Jesse T Show.
Cordy, Dr. David, welcome to the Jesse T Show.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for having us here, man. I'm stoked.
Yeah, it's absolutely been great in connecting, and we worked through a couple of technical difficulties on my side to get to this point. So I'm very thankful that you had the graciousness to put up with it. And we are here today to talk about both of you, the impact that you're making in the world, and what it is that you'd love to see from that impact. So if you would, just give us a little bit of color and context, maybe just who you are and kind of what you're doing today.
Right on, man. That feels it feels very grandiose the way that you just put that. And this is maybe something actually for me that I need to work through still, is like accepting that we're actually doing pretty awesome things right now, objectively. So I'm a doctor of physical therapy by training. I am a jiu-jitsu blue belt. About a year and a half ago, I quit my clinic job to start my own business, working on just coaching jiu-jitsu athletes to be healthy. My goal was always to have like flexibility in my life, to be able to travel. I had no idea what my life would actually look like, but I knew that I wanted that. So that was kind of the first step, was starting my own business. That led to me going to jiu-jitsu camp in Costa Rica, doing ayahuasca in Costa Rica, meeting this lovely lady right here. And I'm sure we'll get all into that. And fast forward to now, we live together in Mexico. We both operate remote businesses. And part of that is organizing ayahuasca retreats at a very unique center, which we'll talk all about. And after that last one, we came home and decided that we needed to do even more to support these indigenous people down there. So that led to us starting a future nonprofit. I can't technically call it a nonprofit because we're waiting for the IRS application, but it led to us forming the Plant Medicine Preservation Project, which is all about sponsoring people in need to connect them with this medicine and giving back to the Shipibo community down in Peru that leads and that serves this medicine.
Beautiful. And before I touch a little bit further into kind of your impetus, the muse that kind of got you on this track, because we all kind of have a calling when we get on this spiritual journey. Some can be lifelong, some can be soul's journeys of 10 lifetimes, some can be, a year you've been doing it, but I want to get to yours in just a moment. But jump into Cordy, a little bit about you, a little about your story, a little bit about your what got you to today.
Oh my God. That is such a long and such a weird and windy and wonderful story. I'm originally from Austria, actually, and I had this idea of, after graduating from university, I was like, oh, let me pop over to Central America for like 2 or 3 months just to see the Mayan ruins. And about 6 weeks into the trip, I was like, I don't want to go back. Like, I don't want to go back to school. Like, there's this whole, when you're living a life. I grew up in this super, super small town where everyone's following this path where, like you go through high school, go to university, move back to your hometown, kind of halfway across from your parents, marry a high school sweetheart, and then just like work the same job for, 40 years essentially. And
Yep.
I kind of saw myself heading in that direction, and I was just terrified. And it's not necessarily that it was bad or anything. It was just this absolute suffocating internally where there's so much more out there. You don't know what the fuck it is, but you're like, okay, like there's something more out there. And I always really loved traveling. I was always fascinated by other cultures. And I was like, I'm just not going to wait for something to come to me. But that was really the first time that I made this really hard decision to actually do what I wanted to do. So I went from having a job fully supporting myself, having a really beautiful relationship, and having, been accepted to an incredible master's program in the Netherlands, just kind of doing all of these things very successfully outwardly. I was like, I'm kind of dead inside. Like, this is not great. And so I made this decision I'm just going to choose me, and I don't know what's going to happen, but really dove off the deep end and basically just sent my family a WhatsApp and was like, I'm not coming back. Like, I'm staying in Central America or South America. And then I turned my phone off for like a week.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah, they were.
That's great.
And
that sounds like the dream for most people, right? Like,
oh, it was amazing. Yeah. And I was in Costa Rica and going through this intense just breakdown of crying all the time, feeling like not knowing what to do and where to go, and just kind of drifting a little aimlessly.
Yep.
And how I actually got put on this path, it was so interesting. I randomly found this yoga teacher training that was like 5 months out from where I was at. And it was in Ecuador. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try to make my way to Ecuador within the next 5 months. And so I did. And it was 5 months where it was very weird. And
what did that process look like? Not to cut you off, but like when you say you want, you set the intention, if it was kind of loose and just kind of a theoretical, like, you know, I want to get to Ecuador in 5 months, but it didn't sound initially like there was like a specific plan. Like, were you going from town to town? Were you like meeting new people? Or did you just wait, like after 5 months, you took a plane, hopped on a plane, got to Ecuador, or a car? How did that all look for you? That like specific part of the journey?
So it was actually funny because initially it only planned for like 2 or 2.5 months in Central America. So I had all my flights booked. Like, I had everything meticulously planned out. I had all of my accommodations set up, everything. And honestly, I think like three days into that trip, like I already missed my first flight because I was like, this, I'm not going home from Cuba. I'm just going to stay. Like, I'll figure it out later. I think I missed, honestly, Jesse, I think I missed at least 8 flights that I booked because I was like, nah, I don't want to.
Were you stacking credits or were you losing money? Like, were you getting?
I was losing money. Yeah. Austria doesn't have the nice, like travel rewards credit card system.
Yeah.
I was 22, so I was like, I had no idea what I was doing.
Price of entry for spiritual growth.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
And I started meeting people and basically just following them around and really feeling into what do I want to do. So most people kind of have this route where they will start maybe in Mexico and then make their way down towards Central America, and then they end up somewhere in South America. And I was just hopping around. I was going up to the US. I was going back to Mexico. I was going to Colombia. I was going back to the US. I was just going back and forth.